My name is not Lena. It's Lana. Lana Lang?
Actress STACY HAIDUK joins us today for an epic conversation. The real Lana Lang. Super excited, guys. Let's do it. Miss STACY, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. This is an absolute honor. The real Lana Lang.
Oh my God, thank you.
How did you get the role, and what was life like at the time for you?
Well, first of all, the casting process was back in 1988. So we're going way back. And I was in New York. I spent my days, doing music videos, getting paid $100 a day if I would, that was, I wasn't making any money. I think I was meant to be an actress. I really do. Since I was a little kid, I loved performing. I was always the ugly duckling. My sister used to call the mailman's daughter. I didn't fit in with my family. I left home when I was 17, moved to New York. And I remember going to this, I think it was the Park Hotel. I can't remember exactly what hotel it was, but everybody was there. Jennifer Aniston, my husband, who I met on Sequest years later, but he was there. There were so many actors going up for parts at this time because there was going to be a writer's strike. And I remember going into this room and I remember seeing, Ilya, Lynn, and I think a couple of the producers. And I just read. I didn't hear anything for about a week. And then they said, we're going to test the Superboy out. I think they had 2 of them. And I was like, okay, what does that mean for me? Am I just reading with the Superboys or what is it? So I remember working on the scenes with them and I called my manager. I said, what is going on? And she says, you already have the part. They've been just trying to figure out what Superboy is gonna, be, and I'm like, well, why couldn't they say that at the beginning? You're literally like, oh shit, this is, my life. And I'm like, how do I, am I gonna get a job? Am I gonna, so that was kind of it. So I got the part and moved down to Florida. It was exciting. We were the first group to work on the MGM lot, which was Disney at that time.
Superboy was my introduction to you. You're a beautiful woman, Miss STACY, respectfully, but it was the eyes that caught my attention. I mean, you definitely stood out. And I'm a filmmaker. Acting is my passion. I work on my projects on the side. And I mean, there are a lot of people who have colored eyes, but there are some that just, it's just a little more magical. There's a little more sparkle, to them. And I'm talking about, Christopher Reeve, Helen Slater on camera. It's magic. And you definitely had that. And I still to this day use a lot of your clips to show some of my friends and actors and say, look, this is kind of what I'm looking for. I need the eyes to tell the story. And because sometimes I feel like that's all you need. You don't have to be as animated. And you definitely have that. I just feel like it's a gift. And I'm very jealous. I obviously don't have colored eyes. I'm just Mexican brown all over. So you get the show. You're shooting like crazy. Do you have a favorite episode, STACY, or a favorite Lana moment?
I loved the Dracula one. There was Microboy. There was just some moments in Microboy that I really, really loved. And then Casanova was the other one that just because Lana Lang got to play outside the box of Superboy. She got to be the main character for a change.
Yes. I love the entire series, but 2 episodes come to mind. One is the Casanova episode, which inspired me to reach out to you, and the other is the Bizarro episode because I love the dancing sequences in both of those episodes. In Casanova, you're dancing with Mark, and I grew up as a chubby kid, so it was inspiring because you would think that you would end up with Glenn because he's the good-looking dude, but it was the reverse. And potion or no potion, it was inspiring for all of us, chubby heroes.
I remember just being on that set. I just was like, oh my God, this is so great, and he's so freaking funny and fabulous. I had a ball. I had an absolute ball.
You like dance with me?
No, I don't want to dance with you. I don't want to eat with you. I just want you to let me go.
I loved the Bizarro character. No offense to Superboy, I get it, but he was sensitive and he didn't have to save the world and he cared about Lana and the squareness of the face and you didn't know anybody behind that mask. He was lovely and I literally was smitten by that character. I mean, as Lana, and just as Stacy too, I was like, this is such a beautiful character. And it really, really was.
And did the recasting of Superboy throw you off at all, going from John to Gerard?
It wasn't that much of a shift for me because I basically was like, whoever is wearing the suit wears the suit. I was dating John for a little bit. Never date your co-star. Because when you don't like them anymore, you have to still work with them. And so it was weird. I remember working with John and it was lovely, whatever. But I was grateful that they still wanted me. I could now just be more of who I was because I'm like, I will never date, ever date my co-star.
And Stacy, when you're on a hit show like that, it's a superhero show, but I feel like at the time it was still considered maybe sci-fi because TV movies, completely different at the time, right? Did it feel special, or were you able to appreciate, what you were making?
No, I had no idea what it was going to be, and it was just I thought, okay, this is my step up to the next thing, and then even like I remember going up for Sequest. And then they brought me this other one that I was like, well, I want that one. That one, that's the one I want because it's acting and I get to do the things I want to do and I get to be a human being and like I get to fill the arc. Well, they didn't want me on that one. They wanted me on Sequest. and it's funny because people don't realize I wanted to do the Barbara Stanwycks. I wanted to be that tough cookie and I wanted to be an actress. And I realize now being older, I go, yeah, you can be an actress even when you're doing that stuff and when you do a soap opera. And so that's why I appreciate where I'm at right now because I get to do all that stuff. And so no, I didn't realize it. And I think that's the problem with youth is that they're not appreciative of where they're at because that's what's being given. And in my life, it's you make the best of what's being given to you at that moment. I was even telling my daughter, all you can be is right here in this moment. You have to invest in who you are, in you as a creator, you as an actress, a cinematographer, whatever it is that you want to do, just do it. And that's where I've lived my life the last 10 years. I'm like, I have to be in the moment.
Looking back, looking forward, I mean, would you say that the Stacy dream, the Stacy journey, I mean, it sounds like it's just beginning.
Honestly, I feel like I just have come into who I am as an actress, as producer, as a director, as a visionary. I'm excited about what the future holds. And that gives me this whole place, this kind of universal world that I get to play with now. Yeah, I get afraid. Every day I do, but I tell myself, you know what? What are you grateful for? What's working in your life? How can you help out in the world? What can you put out? What makes a difference for you? What do you want to see out there? It is so nice to share with you this because it's what goes on inside me. And sometimes I can't share it with everybody because not everybody wants to hear it.
Thank you for sharing because it's really, I think we all have, similar thoughts and dreams. And I think sometimes, a lot of the times, people think that they're alone and we're really not. I mean, we're all connected at some point. So
it's really beautiful. That in itself, I mean, amazing. And what you do, it's like a little trip down memory lane. I really appreciate it. And I love this. I love meeting people and I love seeing what your creativity is. I think you're fucking talented.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Especially coming from the real Lana Lang. I really appreciate it. Miss Stacy, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Super congrats on all your incredible work, talent, and success. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Rewatch Superboy. It's an awesome show, awesome times, awesome cast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for believing, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.